No music, I guess. Babies cry, and that's normal, but if you're feeling overwhelmed, it's okay to step away. Never shake a baby. Shaking can kill, and 1 in 4 don't survive. Survivors often face permanent brain damage. Learn more and give today at nevershakemn.com.
I could have done a Christmas. I could have done a Dylan DeWitt Christmas song, Acapulco. You know what you do without music?
Yeah.
Oh, come, all ye faithful. How about the timing of that? You just heard Gopher Update with Mike Grimm, and you heard the head coach talking about how wonderful the bowl games are. We're going to get 13 practices. We get to travel on it. Well, it's not really a vacation, but we get to travel. Kids get to bond more. We get to get a head start on 2026. I guarantee you, and not every kid. I don't know how many kids are on a college football team. Is it 100? Roughly?
Sure, it's close, yeah.
Of those 100, how many do you think really, truly, if you, in a moment of, it's the word I'm looking for, off the record, hey, do you want to practice 13 more times, 2 or 3, 4 hours a day, or however long the practices go, and nurse injuries for another 2-3 weeks to go play in Phoenix against New Mexico? And again, it's not leading anywhere other than if you win or lose. I bet most would say zero interest. Zero. Some probably do. And maybe seniors. He did mention the senior thing. There might be some seniors that
sure,
it is their last game. They're not going to be selected in the National Football League draft. They have no interest in playing some minor league football, the Mid-America Football League that I used to be the commissioner of. But, yeah, it's, there's a story, Associated Press. In a matter of hours Sunday, what had appeared to be a year no teams with losing records would be needed to fill out the bowl schedule suddenly changed. When Notre Dame, Iowa State, and K-State announced they would decline bids despite being eligible. There are 41 bowls this year. 41. And 82 teams won the necessary 6 games to be eligible. But Iowa State and Kansas State, teams going through coaching changes almost simultaneously, said they were hanging up their cleats for the season. Notre Dame, the first team left out of the college football playoff, followed a few hours later. Mississippi State and Rice, both 5 and 7, swooped in to accept bids, and they got in the way the Gophers did last year. Tennessee, it says they're among the first in line based on their academic progress rate. The Bulldogs will play Wake Forest and Duke's Mayo Bowl in Charlotte, North Carolina. These are 2 teams that don't like each other very much. These 2 teams don't even know where there's not a kid on Mississippi State that has any idea where Wake Forest is even located. Where's Wake Forest? In the woods? They don't know. They have no idea. They don't even want to go. I just want to go to class. I want to go to parties. I want to party like it's my birthday. Sip Bacardi like it's my birthday. I'm just wild and young and free. We just played. We did spring practices and we had summer training camp and we just went through 12 games and I don't want to play. We're not any good. We're 5 and 7. Why are you making us go to this game? The Owls will face Texas State in the Armed Forces Bowl in Fort Worth, Texas.
Oh, boy.
I'd rather be in Amarillo by morning than Fort Worth, Texas. Who would want to go to Fort Worth, Texas? I wonder when the date on that one is. Armed Forces Bowl. The Birmingham Bowl, after multiple 5 and 7 teams declined bids, so there are 5 and 7 teams that at least had the pride to say, we don't want to play, we don't deserve to be in a bowl game, we don't want to fill out a TV schedule. There's nothing in it for us. The Birmingham Bowl, after multiple 5 and 7 teams declined bids on Sunday night, got Appalachian State. Bunch of hillbillies, guys out of the mountains. Appalachian State to accept an invitation to play Georgia Southern in an all Sun Belt conference matchup. These are two teams that don't like each other much. Georgia Southern won the regular season meeting 25-23 on November 6th. The college football viewing public is clamoring for that game. Rematch of a 25-23 game. I can't wait, Tennessee. I might have a party for the what's the name of that? The Birmingham Bowl.
By the way, I looked up Armed Forces Bowl, and on their website, they just have the logos of the two teams that are playing, and I couldn't identify the logos. I didn't know what schools they were until I had to search further.
Iowa State, K-State, and the Fighting Irish weren't going to play in any of those lower-level bowls, but their decisions altered the order of selections and presumably allowed three lesser teams to move up and bowls at the bottom of the scramble. Notre Dame's decision to shut down for the year came after it was announced as the first team left out of the playoff. Here's what they said on their social media site. As a team, we've decided to withdraw our name from consideration for a bowl game following the 2025 season. We appreciate all the support from our families and fans. We're hoping to bring the 12th national title to South Bend in 2026. Miami got into the playoff as an at-large selection after moving from number 12 to number 10 in the final rankings. Notre Dame dropped the spot and will now stay home. And I think Miami beat Notre Dame in one of those first
That's why they were head-to-head, yeah.
So, I guess there was also a story that I think I saved. Let me see if I can. Yeah, here it is. Here's what Notre Dame said. Their athletic director is Pete Bavacqua. He told Yahoo Sports, they're Yahoo Sports, Yahoo! They're going to be the main media contact at the Appalachian Bowl. Said Pete Bavacqua told Yahoo Sports, overwhelming shock and sadness, like a collective feeling that we're all just punched in the stomach. Shock and sadness, crying, apparently, that they didn't get to play the 12-team tournament. Although boycotting a bowl might be the exact reaction that many Notre Dame fans wanted, it can't help the long-term viability of non-playoff bowl games. There's too many bowl games. And I know it's all about money, folks. This isn't a reward to teams. It's not. It's not in any way, shape, or form. That's not what it is. That's how they sell it to you. That's how coaches sell it to players. They really like us. No, coach, they need 82 teams for 41 bowl games. They're taking 5 and 7 teams. That's how desperate they are for clubs. You look at the 12-team tournaments. I had to look up who JMU was. You know who that is?
Is it James Madison?
James Madison. They've only been in the FBS for 3 years. 5 years ago, they were losing to the Bison in the FCS playoffs. Indiana's number 1. Why can't the Gophers be like Indiana or at least even be like James Madison? How is that? Why is that? I've said this, and you know, now with all the arguments, you know, this is what I told everybody was going to happen to begin with. Everybody, I bounced it off Deuce, and Deuce thinks I'm nuts too, and no one will agree with me on this, and I understand why, but it won't get me to change my mind. They should never have had a season-ending national championship game. Don't even bother. The mythical national champ was so much fun. You just waited till the next day till the Supreme Court, the media members decided who it was. That's what we're stuck with. And now again, and I tried to tell people, 12, they went to 4, and that wasn't enough. And I said it wouldn't be enough because the team that feels like they're 5, 6, 7, and 8 are going, what about us? And same thing now at 12, you got 13, 14, we got Notre Dame, and others saying, why aren't we in? And if they went to 24 teams, there'd be 5 or 6 teams, 25, 26, 27, 20, and go, why aren't we in? You're not accomplishing anything. And you know, again, every season has to have one champion, and I guess it has to be decided on the field, the court, the ice, or the diamond. And I understand that, but you got what you asked for. Hope you're happy with it because it doesn't. All I care about is when they get a first round bye and they will play their first game in a couple of weeks. We'll break. We'll come back. More to get to. It's the Common Man program along with Tennessee here on the Fan.
Wild fans, this is your season. Experience the energy, the goals, and the unforgettable moments at Grand Casino Arena Get your tickets now, including to Wild versus Stars on December 11th and Wild versus Capitals on December 16th at wild.com/tickets to cheer on the Wild this season.
Double 1314 past Common Man program. I'm Common. He is Tennessee. As a very controversial major market radio talk
That's
show
interesting.
host, yes, I get my share of compliments, but I get plenty of complaints. And people have no trouble letting you know about it. But I have a philosophy, Tennessee. And it goes like this. It's none of my business what people say of me and think of me. I am what I am and I do what I do. I expect nothing and accept everything. It makes my life so much easier. So you can throw the brickbats at me. I don't even know if that's the right phrase, but I wanted to use it. It's not going to bother me at all. You know, we've been talking a lot over the last few years about, we were just talking college football, just last segment, about college football, just college sports in general, about how now with nil money, name, image, and license, how it's really changed. I saw this story. I hope I saved it. It's actually kind of here it is. No, that's a Viking story. Thank you. From The Athletic.
The what?
The Athletic.
I'm not familiar.
It's a baseball team. They're based out of Oakland. And
For now.
But now I think they're playing out of San Bernardino. Denny, it's a gal though, because they always have the picture with the writer of the story. Her name is Denny Alfonso. Headline, Michigan State scores historic $401 million donation in athletics push.
Of course.
Michigan State University secured a $401 million commitment from Greg and Dawn Williams, with $290 million earmarked for the athletic department. The donation is the largest in school history, eclipsing the previous record of $32 million. That's walking around money, apparently, to Greg and Dawn Williams. 32 mil? They're giving 401 mil. How did they come up on the one?
That is a good question.
Round it off at 400 or push it to 405. What's the extra mil for?
My guess is, knowing they are probably billionaires, there's some sort of tax incentive. Once you get after $400 million, there's a tax incentive of some sort.
Hold on.
Brilliant!
You're probably right. It eclipses the previous record of $32 million from Phoenix Suns owner Matt Ishbia. Wasn't he going to buy the Twins, or was he going to buy the Wolves?
Twins.
Yeah, remember? And then he bailed out and decided to go with the Mets. Smart man. That's why he's got a lot of money. The $401 million donation consists of $290 million to Spartans Athletics, $100 million to Spartan Ventures. That's a tax-exempt nonprofit created to bolster athletic department fundraising. So, in other words, they're giving a fundraising arm of the university more money to help them fundraise. $11 million toward academic and extracurricular initiatives. Just 11 for academics, because that's not important. Who cares about academics? A measly $11 million. Would have been 10 if they wouldn't have thrown in that extra $1 million. Because we idolize and pedestalize and worship at the altar that is sports, sports, sports is your whole life, just sports. So the academics gets... It's the equivalent of money that falls out of your pocket fumbling for change in front of the vending machine. At a press conference on Friday, Greg Williams, the co-founder and CEO of financial technology insurance brokerage company Acrisure, offered a message to university stakeholders. Here's what he said. Set your expectations extremely high because the support that you need to achieve what you want to achieve, you have it. Here it is. No excuses now. The bar has been set so high, there are no excuses for Tommy Izzo. And I can't name another coach at Michigan State, can you? That's the only one I know. Can you name another? Tennessee, for that $1 million of the $401 million, can you name another Michigan State affiliated coach? I can't.
Don't think I can.
He did not attend MSU, but he grew up rooting for the Spartans in nearby Lanesburg, Michigan. By the way, Tennessee, he's become close friends with Tommy Izzo. How much do you think Tommy goes, I'm just so glad he's my pal. Think about that. Tommy Izzo thing. They're going to have the best team in college basketball for years to come. With that kind of money, $290 million earmarked, and we know how it goes, men's basketball and men's football, because they are the ones that turn down bowl games and get invited to the 64-team tournament and generate all the income. They get the lion's share of that money, or the Spartans' share in this case. Think of how much money. They'll have the equivalent of an NBA team. They can, think about it. Think of how much they can offer. Of that 290, they're going to probably get, the guy's close friends with Izzo. My guess is now once the university gets the money, they probably can divvy it up any way they want. I wouldn't think there's any, but maybe there are, there are some, what's the word I'm looking for? Not loopholes, but there are some.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, of that money, this much you have to spend with Tommy Izzo. Let's even say Tommy gets $100 million. How big is your basketball roster? You need to go 8 deep, right? In college basketball, 9, but
minimum,
8,
yeah.
Right? But I'm just saying 8 deep, and then you fill out the rest of the roster too. But 8, you pay those guys $2-3 million a year. They're all in. You're going to get every good player.
Yep. We're finally going to have a superstar coming out of the state, and he's going to have a decision between Minnesota and Michigan State, and he's gone.
The $290 million dedicated to sports marks a strong beginning of the athletic department's $1 billion fundraising kit. They need $1 billion. It's like Jerry Lewis, lady. This fundraising campaign, will they cry like Jerry Lewis did? He was raising money for muscular dystrophy, a worthwhile cause, not padding. And I like athletes getting money. Trust me, I don't think the networks and the universities and they shouldn't be getting all the dough. Strong beginning of the athletic department's $1 billion fundraising campaign, which the school unveiled earlier this week with a promotional video introduced by Spartans' all-time great and Lansing native Magic Johnson. Let's get Magic to do the thing for us, because Magic.
It's magic.
Yeah. The donation arrives as Michigan State adapts to the capital requirements of modern college athletics, particularly football. AD Batt dismissed Coach Jonathan Smith on Sunday, which means the university will buy out the remaining years of Smith's guaranteed contract for roughly $33 million. We could name a coach now, except he's not the coach anymore. So they got that money. Think about this. Before they were like, if we buy him out, we want to fire him. He's terrible. But then we got to pay $33 million. We don't have that kind of money. Now, well, it's easy. It's good to be Jonathan Smith. You're not a coach anymore. You've lost your job, but they're writing you a check for $33 million. I don't need to coach anymore. You know what I'd do? Take the $33 million, I'd coach some Pop Warner team as a volunteer. That's what I'd do. Izzo praised the magnitude of the Williams' donations. Of course he did. Why wouldn't he? You think he was going to say, I really don't like money in college athletics. I'm really disappointed. We're not going to accept a dime from my good friend, the Williamses. He says the DNA is to win championships. The DNA is to be the best we possibly can. The commitment you made today will certainly propel us towards the next championship. Oh, money can buy you championships than to be in college basketball. So there you go. Good luck to the Gophers. Do you think Niko Medved has a really well-heeled friend? Just think if he had a friend that was worth that kind of money. He had a $400 million.
Needs to become friends with Corey Cove.
That's what he needs to do. And then, you know what? He can go on that inclusive cruise, that all expense paid cruise that the Power Chip's taken for winning Bracket 64. We'll break, come back. One more segment to go. Common Man program on the Fan.
Hey, Rubes, this football season, Bell Bank is getting one KFAN listener each week $1,000 to pay it forward to a charity of their choice. Just head over to KFAN.com, keyword contest, and learn more and enter today. That's KFAN.com, keyword contest.
Couple 13-14 past. I'm Comedy's 10 and B. Last segment of the we turn it over to Big Ticket in JG. They're next. They're here till 6:30. Tomorrow, are we back now? Is Niko Medved
Should be.
At 12 noon? I think it's the Niko Medved show. Niko coming off a big win. They beat, I don't think they've played since they upended number 22 Indiana. Niko Medved show, 12 noon tomorrow, and then we're in at 1. The legendary Mark Rosen joins us at 2. Received an inter-office email, Tennessee, about our upcoming office remodel.
Yes.
See that? Boy, it looks nice. A little cramped. No! It's kind of like going from a deluxe apartment in the sky to basically we're
downsizing.
We're downside. Looks like it's like maybe a college dorm. No! It's awful small. Might even lose it, but there's 2 phases, I'm told. Phase 1, where they're going to redo the mail room, copy room, kitchen, all storage areas, closets, rooms need to be all cleared out. We have a new performance studio. It's pretty cool. It really looks nice. During phase 1 of the construction, all workstations / offices will remain in place, but now's a good time to start clearing out personal items to prep for phase 2. Sales floor, studios, offices, and personal desk spaces. I finally, after 30 plus years here, get an office, and now it's being taken away from me.
You've got to be kidding me.
I moved into my new office. Was it in September, I believe?
Is that it? Is it only been a couple months?
August or September. I'm what was that old bit we used to do? I'm privy to some numbers that are very what was that bit I used to do about numbers?
It was the Mauer Chev.
Oh yeah.
Come across some numbers or?
Yeah, I have some numbers that are mighty impressive. We get report cards 4 times a year to see how well we're liked and how much we're listened to by the listening public. Maybe this is just a coincidence to me, but we've had, get ready, you can use either horn you want. We have our best work, at least according to the listeners. We've never had as many listeners the past 3 months than we've ever had. Ever. I'm about to say something controversial.
That's interesting.
Romney, Obama, our growth in numbers coincided with me getting a new office. Whether one had to do with one, did one have anything to do with the other, I don't know. But Don't you think it's a little short-sighted after the growth we've had, the work we've performed, and now you're taking my office away where I spent countless hours? Maybe, I guess I don't spend a lot of time in my office. Scratch everything I just why are they taking my office from me? I was just starting to get accustomed to having one. And now it's going to be gone.
Well, they'll see more of you in the coroner's office then.
Well, yeah, that's their own. That's exactly. Well, they already see a lot.
So don't complain about that.
That's exactly right. We lost to the last. Have we turned into the Minnesota Timberwolves? Have the Wild turned into the Wolves? Dateline, Vancouver. The Wild are on a new streak, but it's not the kind they're used to having. They fumbled an early lead against the last place Canucks, who rallied 4-2 on Saturday night at Rogers Arena. Oh, Rogers. To give the Wild back-to-back regulation losses for the first time since October 22nd through the 25th.
By the way, the Canucks were last because the Wild had lost the previous game to the team that wasn't last, but that team jumped over Vancouver. Calgary.
The Calgary Leapfrogs.
Yeah.
John Hines, head coach, says, from an effort standpoint and then an intensity standpoint, when you look at the overall game in any measure, we probably deserved a little bit better than we got tonight. He went with the...
Basically, they outplayed them.
Yeah, he went with that. So did Z Boyum. Is it Boyum? Boyum. We worked a lot harder than the Calgary game for sure. So remember the Calgary game? We had to take them to task because apparently they were lazy. We worked a lot harder than the Calgary game. At times, we probably could have caught a few. I think they meant to say few, but it says COUPE. That's like a chicken coop to me. I don't know, but in the first we had so many chances. If those go in, maybe it is a different game. Nico Sturm said, if we're up 2-0, 3-0 after the first, this game is going in a completely different direction. Well, yeah, that's for any team. And let me ask
what if we get out to
well, you beat me to it. But I don't know if you want to get out to a 2-0 lead.
I always love that one.
I think you want to keep it scoreless.
Well, they got out to the 1-0 lead.
Yeah, see, that was a mistake.
And as you read, they had multiple chances. Odd man rushes, backdoor passes in the first period that they didn't capitalize on. And there is something about the NHL when you go an entire first period of just controlling play and have lots of chances but don't capitalize. That always, I don't know what it is about that league. It always comes back to bite you.
Is it Villander or Willander?
I'm not even sure.
It says at 9:29, Villander went top shelf through traffic to net his first goal, which was the first goal Volstead allowed on the Wild's road trip.
I thought Middleton misplayed that one a little bit. It was a 2-on-1 rush, and he allowed the shooter basically to go right down the middle, right? Like you want to keep the shooter to the outside, and he was playing a little too much pass. Once the shooter gets to that spot on the ice, you gotta challenge him a little bit.
Next up was Pedersen, who connected on a point shot after a face-off win at 11:46. Volstead, he blamed himself.
Sure. He's accountable.
He said, quote, I just got to fight through the screen a little better. I thought I got stuck behind the screen a couple of times where I just couldn't catch the release, and that makes it hard. Now, Tennessee, I played hockey. You might not understand when he talks about it. I could explain it, but then he gets too, what's the word I'm looking for? Gets too technical. I don't want to get too...
You got to dumb it down a little bit for the listeners.
I don't want to, then it gets too, it's hard to follow. Too wonky. Gets too wonky. But he said he got stuck behind the screen a couple times where I just couldn't catch the release, and that makes it hard. He says, I felt like I just didn't give us a good enough chance to win. I'd have thrown the other guys under the bus. They're screening me. They can't clear the front of the net. How the hell am I supposed to stop a goal? Need better defense on that? No. But so he took his share of the blame. Again, I wanted to ask you, patience, din, 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 or panic? How How do you feel right now?
Well, I think I've mentioned this now for the third time in the last week. Like, when you hear last place, you assume that the other team's a really, really bad team. I just don't think there's not a really, really bad team this year. And other than Colorado, there might not be a really, really, really good team. It's just a bunch of teams that are all kind of packed together, and there's a ton of parity. So it sounds worse than it is. The Calgary game, they got outclassed. They did not look good. Vancouver, definitely in the first period, they were by far the better team. I mean, you could even argue throughout the game. They only gave up 16 shots in that game. If you're playing in the NHL and give up 16 shots, like, you should be able to win hockey games. It's the beauty of the sport, especially once you get into playoff time, is sometimes you have a hot goalie, sometimes you have a goalie that's not doing as well. The other goalie, even though I'd barely ever heard of the guy, and he sounds like he's a rookie who's played very little action in the NHL. He made some big saves and looked good and kept his team in the game, and they overcame by the end, but I'm not convinced. If the Wild keep that effort and that performance, they'll win more games than they lose.
Somebody named Ratty or Raty, R-A-T-Y, I think he had 2 goals. Did he?
He did.
Was one an empty netter, though?
I don't even remember. It's hard to remember the game, but yes.
Ratty added another 5. Oh, no, he added another, so his first one was not an empty netter. Ratty added another 5:09 into the third when he picked the puck off Volstead behind the net and backhanded it.
Yeah, that was bad.
Crease. Volstead said, I should make a play faster. Just get the puck out of my hands. But that happened. It's a lesson to be learned and move on from. So again.
Yeah, that one was all on the goalie.
Yeah, and he's taking the blame. He's not trying to say.
Just turn the puck over behind the net.
I had a rock in my shoe, or the sun got in my eyes. He didn't offer up an excuse. I was squinting. Yeah, I wasn't chewing my gum confidently enough. Hines said, we didn't capitalize on the chances we had. I thought we carried play most of the night. We didn't get rewarded for the effort we put in offensively, and then we had a couple of self-inflicted wounds. Those will get you every time, the self-inflicted wounds.
Yeah, and the Volstead was the worst of the self-inflicted wounds.
We also call that shooting yourself in the skate. That'll happen sometime. Well, it's funny how things can change. I mean, the Wild were 12-1-1 in November. They're still fine, but look at the National Football League. On November 2nd, the Colts were 7-1. And then you see all those playoff prognosticators, and it's like
fighting for the number 1 seed.
98% chance of making postseason right now.
Yeah.
Now they're like at 12. They've since being 7-1, they're 8-5. The league should investigate playing Danny Jones. They should never. You don't play a quarterback with a. And here's the other.
By the way, it's official today. Torn Achilles. Yeah. They did announce that.
Right. So I was beside myself when I saw the video, and last Thursday we're watching. It was Thursday or Friday. We're watching a video from Colts practice, and it says Danny Dimes expected to play, and it shows him dropping back to pass, and he's dragging his leg like. You ever watch Boris Karloff as the Mummy, 1939 or 41, whenever it was? Frightening movie. In the Mummy, he dragged one leg like this. He looked like the Mummy without the wrappings. And I said on the air, I said, "What? You can't play him." They played him, and now torn Achilles out probably for a full calendar year. They didn't do.
And he was dragging his leg before the injury.
Yes, yeah. They well, that's what I'm saying.
I know, but on the play he got injured, he was doing it, yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, they should never have played him. They did him an injustice, and then they did the franchise and did the whole thing. And then here's what I'm told. He doesn't have a contract for next year. You know that?
Yeah, that's very unfortunate. He was about to make a lot of money. He was probably going to get one of those Sam Darnold contracts, right? Those 3 years, $33 million a year.
Why did he insist on? Well, you know what? Because it's part of the culture. You ever watch the movie North Dallas 40, Tenneby? Have you ever heard of it?
Only through you.
North Dallas 40 was Nick Nolte.
Did Jerry Kill coach there?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Nick Nolte. Why can't I think of the country singer's name? Just 16 and out of control. Lust and James Dean and rock and roll. What was the name of can you just Google the movie? Why can't I think of I can see him. country and western singer, became an actor, did a really good job. He played Don Meredith in the movie. It was based on the Dallas Cowboys. That's why it was called North Dallas 40.
Was it Mac Davis?
Mac Davis, that's who it was, Mac Davis. Nick Nolte, Mac Davis, I don't know who else was in it.
Steve Forrest, Bo Svensson?
Yeah.
Charles Durning?
Well, there's a great scene between Charles Durning and Mac Davis. You have it, I think, the audio for it.
Oh, yeah,
We've played it before because I've talked about this. This is Durning and Mac Davis in the climax of the movie in the locker room before the big game.
I know what you're thinking, punk. You're thinking, did he fire 6 shots or only 5? Now, to tell you the truth, I forgot myself in all this excitement. But being this is a 44 Magnum, the most powerful handgun in the world, and will blow your head clean off, you've got to ask yourself a question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
North Dallas 40. And it was about players playing through pain and taking injections to play. You got to play. And that's kind of what that is. I'm sure they well, it sounded like they were trying to force him by gunpoint to play, as you just heard in that clip. But they didn't. Danny Jones, you know, he wanted to play because that's what you're supposed to do in the National Football League. Be a tough guy. Well, now he's out for the year, no contract. He'll probably just be discarded. I mean, I would hope the Colts would do well by him and sign him to a deal. But if you're the franchise, do you? I mean, does he come back from the Achilles? He probably will. Do most people come back 100% from an Achilles or not? It's dicey, isn't it?
You never know.
Yeah.
I mean, the quarterback. Now, Daniel Jones does depend on his mobility. That's part of
right.
His skill set. But generally speaking, a quarterback, you can kind of get away with just, being a pocket passer.
Yeah. So I don't know why they played him, but I guess they did,
Luckily for him, at least he did get paid big once. So
yeah.
He had a 4-year, $160 million contract.
Yeah, well, then, all right. Well, he'll be
but,
right.
I mean, still,
right.
He would have added another $100 million with the season he was having.
And then
Probably with the Colts.
And then we just mentioned how quickly it can change. They were 7-1 on November 2nd. Now they're 8-5, and they ain't going to make the playoffs.
They're not going to make the playoffs, no.
The Bears going into yesterday's game in Green Bay, they were the number 1 seed in the NFC. That one loss, they dropped to 7. Did you see that? They're now the 7th seed.
Yeah.
Now that's just week to week. That's why, though, the power rankings and the playoff probabilities are all kind of silly to look at because we just don't know how every game. You have to wait for the games to play out and listen to the final gun and then look at the whole weekend to see where you're at. But, yeah, they went from the number 1 seed. If the playoffs, let's say they were in the end of the season, and now they're the 7th. Now, they should still make the playoffs, I would assume. I don't expect them not to, but you don't know.
The Lions are 1 game back, and they play each other, and the Lions will have the tiebreaker if they win that game.
That's correct.
So it's dicey.
Well, here's the toughest one for the Lions. I think they're all tough. This is not taking anything away from Chicago, taking anything away from the Vikings, and who else do they? The Rams game is the tough one this weekend.
Yeah.
At Los Angeles. That could be a beatdown game. The 2 former quarterbacks that were swapped, facing each other, and just like they did back in the NFC Championship game No, that was San Francisco. They lost to. That's right. It was San Fran. But just so and they're playing. Los Angeles is playing on a whole other level. So I would expect a loss there.
They look good.
And then I can't remember who Detroit has. They have Chicago and Minnesota, and who's there? Oh, Pittsburgh. They have Pittsburgh. So it's Los Angeles this week.
At Minnesota on Christmas.
Yeah, and then at Chicago. So I just expect them to lose. And if they win,
game at the end is going to be, I think,
that's it.
Winners in the playoffs, loser goes home.
It could very well be.
That'll be a flex game.
And the Vikings are playing spoiler, right now. Mathematically, they're still in, but they're playing spoiler, and they already beat Detroit once. I don't have a lot of hopes for my club. Of course, I didn't think they were going to win last week against Dallas either, so we'll just have to see how it plays out. Boy, that music means it's over. How time flies when we're killing time. Thanks for having me.
Hey, great job.
You as well. I enjoyed our visit with you today. I'm sure Tennessee did as well. We're back tomorrow at 1 o'clock. It's the Nico Medved Show tomorrow at 12 noon. Mark Rosen joins us at 2 tomorrow, but stick around. Big Ticket and JG, they're next right here on the Fan.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Minnesota!
And good night, folks. And good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are.
Listen back to any of Common Man's programs by podcasting on the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.